Okay, today's lecture is about dissolving objects. First work from dissolving objects is text dissolve. This is really simple task without any render, just for understanding how to work with particles. And what we are going to do, we are going to create some effects with this dissolve. Um, let's see works from previous year about this dissolve effect. Where's and we are going to make something like this. This lab is not needed to render. This is just for making some dissolving effect. Uh, if you want to render, you can render them out. We are going to create something like magical dust, and if you want, you want to render this out or create something interesting with this dissolving effect. Everything is recorded. Okay, let's see another examples. For submission, you need to submit a screen recorder from your work, from your Maya, and your Maya file. And this is something what we are going to create now. The next work for this dissolving effect, we are going to dissolve some objects. I'm also going to show you some students' work for this dissolve effect. Um, this is the second part about dissolving the objects. And here is some results. For the second part, you need to create some object, make this dissolve effect, and render them out. And also, we are going to use some camera movement. If we will, if we will have time today, we are going to start also this dissolving object effect. But first, we start with the text. And here is some examples of usage of this effect. Some of them is really interesting. And you can do something like this. And also, as usual, I will send you some links from the previous year's lectures about object dissolve. And also, in the previous year's lectures, in this lecture, you can find about text dissolve and this is some object dissolve. Okay, let's begin let's start with the text dissolve. First of all, we need to create some object, text object. You can find text object here in the poly modeling shelf. If you don't have this text, you should open plugin manager, settings preferences, plugin manager, and find some text here. And make sure you have loaded and after loaded checked. Type MLL. It means you will have this type effect in the Maya. With this type mesh, we can make any text here. When you created this type, you can go to the type and change this text to anything. For example, VFX 2025. You can change some font here. You can make even something curved or something interesting, modern black or maybe Montserrat. Maybe some impact and Lato. I think this one is cute. You can change font size. You can change some kerning scale. You can set up this line as you want. And next, we are going to simulate some particles from this text. Previously, we created simulation of the particles from emitter, but we can use some objects for these simulations and simulate particles from entire sphere of this font and text. Let's go to FX and create some emissions particles. We can we can choose emit from object, and in the emitter we can select a surface. If we select some surface, we will emit from every vertex from this text. But before we create this emitter, we can change text a little bit because now we have these big faces around this text, and only we have vertices only on the side of this model. Let's go back with undo, and we can make some adjustment to this model and make let's create this triangulate mesh. With the triangulate mesh, we divided this model into the small pieces, and we will have enough geometry to provide some more particles from the surface. Because previously we don't have any divisions in this, that's why we need to make some more divisions on this text field. And now we can make some emitter from object. And now if we emit, we have some more particles from this surface. And next from the emitter, let's change particles rate to bigger one and see how it's emitted. And also for the particles, we don't need now some gravity. We need to switch off gravity in the nucleus for these particles. We will set 0 for the gravity. And our particles... Something wrong with this projector. Да, можно. Не забывайте attendance отмечаться. And without gravity, we have these flowing particles. We don't need gravity for these levitation particles. That's why we decrease this gravity in the nucleus field. And next we are going to switch off the speed of these particles. Now we have emitter inside the type mesh, and in this emitter we can decrease the speed of these particles. If we decrease the speed, now we have particles around the surface, and particles start to emit and fill this text. We need to increase the duration of our animation, and now we can see how fast they start to simulate this text. If we hide our text, now we can see the particles uh, and text from particles. This is how we can create this effect. Uh, Now we need to start our simulation from particles, from this quantity of the particles we emitted. We selecting these particles and create some field and solver, and let's set initial state for this selected. And from the beginning, we already will have this quantity of particles. Let's go to the beginning, and now we have these particles. And after that, we don't need any particles rate, and we can switch off this particles rate. That's why, because we already have enough quantity of these particles. If you feel that is enough, you can switch off this rate and start with the field effect. Now we need to make some this dissolving object effect. We can use the same effect from the previous year. We can create some volume axis field. This volume axis fields is really useful field. Я надеюсь, там ничего страшного. Сигнализация. And we can use this field for these particles. We can increase this field and make some adjustment for this field. But first, we can create animation for this field. For example, at the beginning, we can start from this position. We can make some. We need to create animation only on the x-axis. That's why we can create animation only on translate x, and make some movement, for example, of this field to the end. And now we have this animation. And next we are going to make some field adjustment for these particles. In this field, we are going to change some attributes. Let's make directions of these particles not from away from center, but from away from axis. And we can change direction for this axis by using some directors. Let's increase directional speed. Something like this. We can manipulate with this arrow and choose direction for this field. And now the particles becomes dissolved, but not good enough. We can make some turbulence field, and we can also add some around axis maybe. And now we have this distribution of the particles. But particles did not disappear because we have lifespan for these particles, and they live forever. they're not destroying, and we can change this to the random range. Now we have almost 10 seconds for full duration of animation. We can start this random range from 9 to 8. If we kill our particles before the end of the simulation, we don't have particles to begin. Maya can be crashed, but now it's everything is fine, and let's check. At the beginning, our particles come back, and you can save this result because on this simulation sometimes Maya is crashed, and you should keep it in mind because sometimes it happens when we change lifespan and our particles disappear. Maya didn't understand. We don't have any particles rate, and our particles is disappeared. That's why sometimes Maya is crashed. That's why you need to save this result and or make some reserve copy before you change this lifespan. But now I guess it's fine for now, and also you can change uh, direction of these particles. You can use only um, directional speed. You can use some around axis. You can experiment with this field to adjust some good dissolving effect. Next step, what we can change for these particles, we can change the color of these particles. Now we can go to the particles and particle shape and change how it looks like. In the shading mode, you have these parameters for the color and for the opacity. Okay, let's change the color of these particles. We can use any color, and you can add even some gradient here. If you type, press with the mouse button on the color, you can change the gradient for these particles. And we can change this gradient according to the age. For example, at the beginning we have or from the speed. At the beginning we have particles from blue color, and when it have some speed, it becomes pink. Or maybe it can be from the particles ID. Or maybe some age. Or it can be some random. With random particles ID, the particles becomes pink or blue. Maybe we can use some speed of these particles. And with these attributes, you can create some interesting effect like in motion graphics. And you can design this effect whatever you want. Let's leave this something like this. Next is about opacity scale. We can change opacity for these particles according to its age. It's also or according to the speed, for example. When the particles becomes get some speed, they can be transparent. And if we apply some opacity scale, these particles becomes disappear with this transparency fade out. This is also useful attribute for the particles, and we can change opacity scale according to their speed. You can change input maximum for them, make some random range for them, and play with these attributes to achieve some disappearing effect for these particles. Uh, when you finish with this particle setup, we can create some uh, we can change some points, create some spheres for them, change some radius. If you want to render them out, you need to change from the particles to the spheres, because sometimes Arnold render not render good the particles, and you need to apply some spheres for them to create quality of these particles. And also you can go you can apply some incandescence. It means your particles becomes um, glowing. Uh, with this incandescence type, it becomes more heated. Uh, it doesn't. You can use this incandescence or not use it. Depends on your um, sense of this work. Uh, what else we can do? When we finish with this setup, we can render, we can we can go and make some play blast video from our viewport. If I double click for entire animation and press right mouse button, we can create some play blast. With this play blast, you can create an you can see animation with 24 frames per second. We can use some display size. We can get it from render settings, and we can increase the quality of this uh, play blast, and we can browse the file and save into the folder this video. And with this play blast video, you can understand the real speed of your animation, uh, and also you can use this video and submit this video into the Teams. But Play Blast don't have really good quality instead of screen recording. But with this Play Blast, you can see the real speed of your animation. Because sometimes in the viewport we don't feel real speed because we have different capacity of our notebook. We don't have a really good, for example, really speed computers, and that's why sometimes your animation become really slow and you don't feel real speed. With the usage of the Play Blast, you can check real animation uh, and check it before the render. When you render your animation and uh, combine this image sequence into the video, you sometimes you feel that your animation is really slow or really fast, and if uh, and this animation is different from this viewport, and that's why PlayBlast is some instrument for checking the speed of your animation. Let's create maybe some again PlayBlast and maybe some increase some scale and check how it will be. No, I don't change the speed. I'm change the quality of this play blast with this scale factor. No, it's calculating. That's why it's slow. Uh, when it's finished, you can see the result. And now it's real speed of this animation. Uh, Okay, let's again check some settings. If you increase the scale of Play Blast options, you will get some more quality result, and you can use this video and submit this video as your work in Teams. Now we can find our folder, and here's a V file from this animation. But this AV file is really huge. uh, this 10 seconds, it's about 1 GB size, and every time when I get some AV files from Premiere Pro or After Effects, it's weight really a huge weight of the gigabytes, and I use some handbrake for compressing this file. Let's select this file and put into the source. And with the handbrake, we can compress the file without um, any distortion of the quality. This handbrake is free. You can download it from internet, from the official site, and you can use this handbrake every time when you get a really uh, heavy video from some programs. Text. And let's start compressing this file, and we can use our compressed file and submit this compressed file into the Teams. For example, original file weight is 1 GB. The compressed file is around 3 MB, but the quality is the same. This handbrake is really huge, and you can use it by yourself. Handbrake. You can download it from this site and use for compression of your file. I don't have really enough space on my computer. That's why I every time I'm using this handbrake to decreasing the size of some videos. I think we've done with this text simulation. You can do it by yourself, And next we are going to start work with object dissolve. For the object dissolve, let's save this file. I'm going to use some sphere instead of object. And when we understand how it works, we can find some object and download some example object from the Sketchfab. But before, I am going to use some sphere. This projector don't work correctly. Okay, let's start. For dissolving object, we need some supported files. We will use some mask effect for this object. Now we understand how particles disappear, how it's emit from object, but next I'm going to use, we are going to use some, just 1 minute, I am find. We will use some emitter mask and some emitter. We're going to emit particles from the texture. I'm also going to send you these files for this work. And I will duplicate this file in my folder. And let's extract these files before. Okay, first let's apply some mask for this sphere. I'm going to assign new material. We can use Lambert for this, and according in the color, in the transparency, we are going to apply our mask. Let's go to our folder and use some mask. In the mask, we have this sequence of images, and we are going to use this sequence of images. We also we have only 120 files for this animation, and during this animation we have this sequence of disappearing this object with using this mask. Let's select our first frame and open here in the transparency, and we can use image sequence. If you select the folder of this image sequence from this mask, you can use the entire sequence of these textures. if we play, we can select 20, 90 frames, 190 frames, switch on texture, and now we have this animation of disappearing this object by using this transparency. We can I am assigning a new material into the transparency. By using this mask, we can disappear this object during this animation. And if you use image sequence, you can use some images according to this frame. And now this object is disappeared. It happens because we have some sphere. The sphere object have we can select object mode, go to the modeling, open UV editor. Every object have their UV editor. UV, it means how this 3D object как будет на английском разворачивается? Unfold into the 2D texture. Every object has to be unfolded to the 2D for using these textures. And the sphere has these UVs, and this UV starts from from the beginning to the end. If we change our UV settings, for example, we can create some automatic mapping, for example, for this sphere, and this UVs becomes different from this texture. Our emission texture starts disappearing from the beginning to the end, and that when you change UVs, now our object disappears according to these UVs from the top to the down. That's why we should find objects with materials that you allow to create some cylindrical or spherical UV mapping for these distributions of UVs. Every for better disappearing, these UVs should starts and divides into this hierarchy of UV, and now it disappears smoothly from the bottom to the down. That's why in the previous years we have some objects without complicated textures. Let's go back and see examples. Something wrong with this projector. That's why in the previous year we have these common textures without any details, something abstract, maybe only color. If you use objects that you allows you to create some just color, you can make this mask for disappearing this object. Okay, now we understand why we use this object, simple object for disappearing. And next step, we are going to create some particles emissions from this object, and we need to create emitter stars particles uh, only from according to our emission rate. The next folder we will use this emitter texture. In this emitter texture we have this line, and we are going to simulate particles from this line, and this line has the same speed of disappearing and movement like our mask. And if we will use it together, we can emit particles from this line during disappearing this object. And now we need to create particles. Let's create some emitter from object. And inside this emitter from object, we have texture rate. We can rate particles not only from this surface, but also from the texture. And we can use this file for the emission. From beginning, use image sequence, and let's check the result. Now it's emits from the entire object. Let's go back to our emitter and enable texture rate. And now we have emission only from this white part. We have a really few particles because we have few emission rate for the particles. Let's increase this amount and see what happens. Now we have this particle starts falling from the sphere, and with the gravity it comes down. Again, we can decrease this gravity, and now these particles go away from this sphere. Now we have this simple disappearing of the object. Next, we can use some color on these particles. Не знаю, проблема в шнуре или в самом проекторе. Okay, next we are going to apply some color to this sphere. Let's close our UV editor. We can apply some color to the sphere. We have our Lambert with a transparency, and for the color we can use some texture, or we can use some ramp. We can create some gradient for this file. Maybe we can use something like this. And I'm going to use this ramp also for the particles color. Now we have this ramp. We can, bless you, find it's in rendering editor. We have hypershade. In this hypershade, we have all of our textures that we used. This is for our transparency and emitter, and this ramp we can use for color our particles. Let's go to the particles, and for the coloring our particles by using the textures, we need to add some dynamic attributes and add some color, add per particle attribute. If we add this attribute, now we allow us to use in emitter particles color. Now we can inherit color from this texture. With the middle mouse button, I can drag and drop this ramp into this file. into this particles color, and now our particles can inherit their color according to this ramp. Instead of using the particle color, we can get this color from the texture of this model. And now, if we play, our particles becomes coloring into this color. For example, some of them has blue color, some of them becomes pink. Sorry for this project. Uh, Now you can see the colors of these particles inherit from the texture and their position. And now we're ready to create some interesting effect and create some composition from this file. Or maybe you want to make some break. No, break. Okay.